Packer the Naturopath. I'm back again to bore you with more fish oil stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about fish oil again. What are the different types of omega-3 fish oil supplements you can get? Well, let's look at the omega-3 fish oils first, because they primarily are composed of two things, EPA and DHA. I think you call it icosapentaenoic acid, something like that, or docosahexaenoic acid, EPA and DHA. These are two things found fats in the fish. Now, what many people don't know, people think that the fish actually have these fats by default in their body, but they don't. The levels of the essential fatty acids come from the consumption of microalgae. So tiny algae that small fish consume get into the body, okay? And the small microalgae, there's one called Haematococcus pluvialis, for example, astaxanthin, I finally got it. Astaxanthin is the carotenoid found in Haematococcus. So that's a small, tiny little microalgae that fish eat. Now, of course, through the process of what we call biomagnification, a smaller fish will be consumed by a slightly bigger fish, by a slightly bigger fish, by a slightly bigger fish. And eventually shark and tuna and mako, like the big fish, will consume the big fish, will consume the medium fish, will consume, we call that biomagnification. So this is why the biggest fish have got large amounts of EPA and DHA. But don't forget this, do your own research, that these big fish also contain high levels of selenium, all right? I quite like the guy called Chris Kresser from the United States. He's very science-based and does an incredible amount of research. Look at Chris Kresser's page on the fallacies of fish oil, on the nonsense of I won't touch oil because it's high in mercury kind of thing, Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. There's so many conspiracies out there regarding every single thing now, you don't even know what's real or fake anymore. So, but needless to say, I'm not a big fan of consuming large predatory fish because they will also bioaccumulate a lot of toxins in their body. So it doesn't make sense, right? A lot of these fish are endangered. We shouldn't be shark finning. We need to leave these creatures alone, right? Krill is another topic I've spoken about quite a lot on these videos. Krill actually is the primary food for the humpback whale. So once we start scooping tons and tons of krill out of the ocean in the Antarctic, we're going to malnourish whales. And it's happening already. We're taking food out of the mouths of whales, right? So different types of oils, of supplements, are also created for specific needs. You may get a very high top-heavy DHA supplement. They could even add little bits in there like phosphatidylcholine or different components in there that are going to help for cognition, right? For the brain function, or for moods, for example. So DHA is quite prominent for the eye and the brain, whereas the EPA, we're looking for inflammatory conditions, all right? So a very high EPA one is better for people with inflammation. Now, if we look at the product that we've got here, the Omega-3 Plus, okay, we've got 2 capsules per daily dose. So if we look at the daily dose of EPA on 2 caps, in this one, it's 670 milligrams, and then we've got 340 milligrams of DHA, which is in a 2-to-1 ratio of EPA to DHA, which is considered the best one for inflammation. So EPA can convert to DHA, but DHA can also retroconvert back to EPA, but it's a much more difficult process. So that's why you're better off having a high EPA supplement and not a high DHA one, right? So EPA also is very, very important to get into your body because it produces what we call eicosanoids. Okay, and these are components, have got fancy names like leukotrienes, prostaglandins, thromboxanes. So these are compounds called eicosanoids that are targeted by non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So when you pop a Tylenol or you pop a ibuprofen, you take an aspirin, you take drugs like that, they work on either leukotrienes, thromboxanes or prostaglandins, right? They work on those pathways. But why would you take that crap when you can take EPA? EPA is shown to work as well as ibuprofen, but people are still following the medical line, aren't they? So there you have it, 2-to-1 ratio. EPA inflammation, now you know, predominantly in DHA cognition. There are many types of supplements made. Think carefully where you're getting your supplement from, but also even more carefully think about, is this a sustainable product? Am I buying an anchovy-based fish oil coming from the Peruvian, coastline, which is the most exploited fishery on the planet? 80% of fish oils today are made including anchovies. So just be careful what's in your fish oil. Thanks for tuning in.